Amici telespettatori, ben ritrovati e soprattutto quelli dal cuore tassellato. Siamo qui a commentare il secondo round del Supermotocross AMA americano, gara che si è svolta a San Francisco presso l'Oracle Park di San Francisco. Gara infernale, pista devastata dalla pioggia, per cui ne vedrete sicuramente delle belle. Per cui vi lascio alle immagini immediatamente della classe 250, poi noi ci ritroviamo alla fine della 250 per introdurre la gara delle 4,50 con grandissimi colpi di scena e cambio di tabella rossa poi alla fine. Per cui intanto buona visione e mi raccomando, adrenalina 1000.
And a magical start in the mud is going to be paramount. Who gets the jump? Who's going to be best out of the gates? Let's drop that gate here in San Francisco in the mud. This is going to be wild. Hold on tight. I think it may be Jordan Smith. Jordan Smith and Max Voland get out of the gates the best. Mitchell Oldenburg, I think, is in there as well.
Max got a great start, number 20 there on that Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Great start for Jordan Smith. It'll be interesting to see if he's going to try to build a gap. Oh, no!
That's Joe Shimoda down.
Exactly what he didn't want to do based off last weekend. He knew he needed to start off, have a good start to this race. He lays it down in that first rhythm lane. Look at all the riders in front of him. Going to be incredibly hard to get by these guys with all these ruts on the racetrack.
Shimoda is a comeback specialist, but it's going to be extra difficult. Oh, he's bogged down. He's throwing his hands up in the air, exasperated.
Yeah, oh, he's just going for it. He's trying to make up some time right there, and he cross-ruts. Cross-rut meaning front wheels in one rut, rear wheels in the other. Oh,
going nowhere.
Devastating.
Going nowhere.
That is weird. Doesn't look like any mud's jammed up in the chain ring, sprocket.
It's just got no drive.
I can't imagine that the clutch is fried this early. I'm guessing, I should guess that Honda put a new clutch in between the heat race.
Oh.
That's weird. I hate that for Joe. And the hard thing about it in these regional 250 championships is you only have 8 or 9 races, so points are so important because you don't have the time or the extra races to make up the deficit.
You may have noticed on the time and the top left on the graphic that the race is a shorter period. AMA made that decision to bring it down to 10 minutes plus a lap. This is a slugfest out here. And look at Burden on the 100. Doing a phenomenal job on that Toyota Redlands Bar X Suzuki, the French rider on the right-hand side of your screen, mixing it up with Max Voland. Oh, there's Shimoda. Yeah. He's stuck in the middle.
Joe's trying to get his bike off the track. JT.
RC, I have a question for you. You know, these guys are in the midst of a battle. It's the main event. They all want to win. There's so much adrenaline going on, but you also, and you've made the point several times tonight, which I think is super insightful, you have to protect your motorcycle. It doesn't matter how fast you can go for 5 minutes if it locks up at 10 minutes. So how do you balance that? How do you constantly remember to stay off the clutch, keep the RPMs low, while you're also trying to go for a race?
Well, this is where you have to be smart. I talked about it earlier, not taking the bait. If someone's behind you, that's all right. Let him pass you. Play the long game here. Get off that clutch. Maybe go through the rhythm section if you can. Do not touch that thing.
That's Burden.
Burden goes down.
Anthony Burden. There he is on the 100. He's stuck.
Hampshire.
And that's RJ Hampshire, who's trying to pick up his Husky, but it feels like it's about as heavy as a car.
That is the worst spot to drop the bike or go down, is on the up ramp of the jump, because you're going the opposite way and trying to pick that bike up. It is so heavy. These bikes are probably 250, 260 pounds, guessing somewhere around there, JT.
Well, RC, that's exactly the crash you had in Anaheim 2005. You were running away with the race and you crashed in between the triple exactly like that, so you would know better than anybody.
Oh, yeah. You hate that for RJ Hampshire. This is one of these nights, too. I said before the main event started, just You got to play the long game here.
Let's take a look at what happened to the championship leader.
I think he might have gotten caught up with Burden. Let's hear. This is the start.
Beaumer on his outside.
Yeah.
Beaumer came across. Oh, they tangled.
Yeah, well, Beaumer got a better jump, so he had the handlebar wheel advantage and then went sideways. So he gets collected there.
And this is what happened with Tony Burden.
Burden right there. See, watch Burden, number 100 is going to go down. There was nowhere for RJ to go, and it just stalled out his momentum, and he wasn't able to keep that drive to get over to the top of the jump, and then he just drops it.
And did you see who the big beneficiary was? Phil Nicoletti.
Oh, no.
Oh, and that's Volan.
Well, I had heard Volan when he was trying to keep Burden behind him. That's Beaumer down, I believe.
Volan and Beaumer. Beaumer is able to get back up again. Volan.
Yeah, Volan's clutch is done. I heard him absolutely frying the clutch, trying to keep Burden behind him 2 laps ago, and you hate to see that.
Think about how the fortunes changed for Phil Nicoletti, who couldn't get to the gate in the main event last weekend after an injector problem, and then here he is here going up to second. Quick reminder, we're over the halfway mark. Stop by your local Safeway where Monster Energy drinks are available and on sale now.
I can tell you, if I'm Jordan Smith, as long as he's been in this series, this is where we talked about it before the main event started, Lee. It's like, what do you do? This is where he can rely on his experience. He's got a command lead over 12 seconds. And if he should know, like, all right, I got to chill out. A lot of times, if he has a cable clutch and not hydraulic clutch, he'll be able to feel the play or the lack of play in the clutch, and he'll be able to stay off of it or not.
Here's Levi Kitchen aboard the 47, the Pro Circuit Monster Energy Kawasaki, and he's got himself up into second. Tell us more, Will.
Well, talking to Levi earlier, Lee, I was asking about his history kind of in mud races, and he said, well, it was East Rutherford last year, and that was it. And I said, did you learn much from it? Obviously, it was not too dissimilar from what we're seeing here tonight. And he said, yes. He said, honestly, the biggest takeaway for him was that he was capable of pushing harder than he thought he could. So he thought in East Rutherford, he was taking it too easy. He said, but more was possible. Ricky, I don't know if this just goes beyond that, and at this point, he's just having to be careful. But Kitchen felt like it taught him a lot.
Yeah, well, I'm impressed by the ride he's doing. He's gaining a little time on his old teammate from last year, Jordan Smith. So it's going to be interesting. There's only 3 laps left here, or pardon me, 3 minutes, 15 seconds with a lap to go. So still a lot of racing.
Have a look at this. Carson Mumford has got himself up into third ahead of Phil Nicoletti. Phil's trying to fight back. Phil has never podiumed on a 250 in Monster Energy Supercross competition. He's got to try and catch that 41 of Carson Mumford aboard his Moto Concepts Honda. Great ride in these challenging conditions. His teammate Mitchell Oldenburg is a little further back, and Nate Thrasher has come from last. He was last on lap 1. Nate Thrasher has come up to 10th. What a ride.
Yeah, he's making up a lot of time, and this would be an excellent ride for Carson Mumford. Exceptional amateur.
Oh! Speaking too soon. And Phil Nicoletti says, thanks. I'll just cruise on by. I'll take that third place back. The wet riding in South Carolina on Tuesday at Club MX has paid off. Remember those just incredibly frustrating scenes that we had last weekend prior to the 250 main, where the bike was misfiring and they just had to abandon it. They couldn't get it to run properly. The team said, we're not going to let you go out like that. It's too dangerous. And now, Jason, Phil Nicoletti is just less than 2 minutes and a lap from a podium.
Well, what an incredible bounce back for Phil Nicoletti. But, Will and I are standing trackside, and all you can smell down here is burnt clutch. And Ricky Carmichael, you know exactly what that smells like, but it is overpowering down here because we have, I don't know, maybe 18 bikes left, but all of them are well overheated at this point.
Well, and then what happens, too, is like as you're going up a jump and you start to lose your balance, or going through a corner and you start to lose your balance, your initial reaction is to pull the clutch in, and then when that happens, then you're revving the RPMs, that you're twisting the throttle, the RPMs are going up, and you're just building that engine heat, and toasting your clutch. And it is just brutal, and the dirt is getting thicker as the night goes on, which is going to put more load. It's going to create more engine heat.
Big thumbs up bottom screen there from Jet Lawrence, championship leader in the 450 class. Meanwhile, while that was going on, Garrett Marchbanks, also on the Club MX Muck-Off FXR Yamaha, he got his way up into fourth. So the teammates Nicoletti and Marchbanks are third and fourth. Mumford back to fifth. Josh Varese in sixth. Hunter Yoda seventh. Burden and Hampshire, and then Mitchell Oldenburg.
Oh, he can't go anywhere. Yeah, the ruts are so deep, it's so hard for Phil to get around.
Yeah, so Nicoletti's able to get by.
Oh,
that was the 71.
I thought that was
dropped
Yoda
it. That was
through there.
Cole Thompson who dropped it.
There we go. Marchbanks is making up a ton of time. He's right on it now.
The teammates, here they are.
What a great run for this Club MX Muck-Off Yamaha team.
So bottom box and no goggles for RJ Hampshire, who just ran away from the field last week in A1. It's a very different story here tonight in San Francisco.
Yeah, you hate to see it, and he was kind of at the wrong place at the wrong time when he got caught up when Burden went down there, basically right where he is right now, going up this jump. There's nowhere that he could go, and like I said, he just lost his momentum. So now he's just got to get it to the finish line. This is going to be a huge points hit for RJ.
Speaking of points, Jordan Smith, so long as he stays where he is with 1 lap to go, he's going to be the new red plate holder heading to San Diego. Smith, in his 10th season in Supercross competition, he's going to get a 4th career win, and he'll go ahead of RJ Hampshire in the points and the career wins. Meanwhile, the Club MX Yamaha boys are fighting it out for the final step on the podium.
Well, I'm wondering if Phil's going to sweep the leg on his teammate here on the last lap for a podium position. This would be huge.
1 to go. Jordan Smith, Levi Kitchen, Phil Nicoletti, Garrett Marchbanks, and a little further back.
What a ride by this guy.
Look at this.
Jordan Smith.
These two guys who stood on the podium. Now Jordan Smith just laps the previous championship leader.
He's good. He's got a 5-second lead over Levi Kitchen. And I'll tell you what, Kitchen kept it close. He's right there. Jordan's got to keep going. Anything can happen here in the mud.
We spoke to both these guys this week, Ricky. They both are very pleased with their current situations, their teams, the way their bike feels. It's on for the lead, the win. No, it's not. Checkered flag out in San Francisco. Jordan Smith wins on a rugged night in San Francisco in the mud. And Garrett Marchbanks has got by Phil Nicoletti to steal that final step on the podium away.
Treacherous right here. Marchbanks, he's overheating. You can see the white smoke coming out of the vent tube on the bottom of the engine. He's only got a few more corners to go. No pressure from behind. I'd be chilling right now. This would be big for this race team right here. They worked so hard, been so close so many times to podium positions.
Marchbanks was a little frustrated last week after getting hung up on the gate alongside Mitchell Oldenburg, and he worked his way forward, but this is going to be sweet. A podium for Garrett Marchbanks in San Francisco. Yeah, fist pump there here at Oracle Park. He's loving that. And this is how he got by his Club MX teammate. Nicoletti just got a little out of his rhythm.
Yeah, he got cross-rutted and then goes to the right. Marchbanks was carrying much more speed through this rhythm lane. I think those guys sitting down on their seat, letting their feet drag just to kind of keep their balance, put their feet down if they need to keep them from falling down.
And Garrett's quite a lanky athlete. He's got that lever length, that leg length to get through. Meanwhile, playing in the mud, Jordan Smith, victorious in San Francisco, and will take the championship lead. We'll hear from him and how tough it was when we come back.
E dopo la 250 introduco la 450, sempre su questa pista veramente resa difficile e complicata per tutti i piloti. e purtroppo alcuni hanno pagato pegno, ma vi lascio alle immagini perché dopo le commenteremo con Michele Fanton alla fine. Per cui intanto buona visione.
There are some pro sports where they don't have to worry about the elements. But in Monster Energy AMA Supercross, you have to ride in all conditions. And look at the champ, Chase Sexton, getting himself pumped up. He knows this is going to be a fight. 15 minutes plus a lap here in San Francisco. It's time to bring the action. Drop that gate, let's get to it. And what a start, Sexton. Bike number one, position number one. But here we go, he falters. And down goes a couple, 2, 3, 4 riders.
Oh, that was Anderson. That was a massive jump out of the gate. He timed it perfect. There's Malcolm Stewart, number 27, down.
Oh, boy.
Jason Anderson down, number 21 on the green. Monster Energy Kawasaki at the top. Christian Craig's down, number 28.
And here comes Eli Tomac up against his old rival, Chase Sexton. And Cian Cirillo on the 9 is on the inside. But it's Sexton, Tomac in just his second return ride after that Achilles injury, where so many of us thought it was going to sideline him forever. He wouldn't come back to the sport. Not the story. He's back and back with force.
That was an epic start out of the gate that Chase Sexton got. Coming out, I haven't seen a start executed perfectly like that in so many years. If there's ever a time you want to get the perfect start, it is a night like tonight. Why? Because the conditions are brutal. You want that clear vision. Here's a replay. Watch the top of your screen right there. Comes out firing.
And watch Anderson. It was like Anderson hit a brick wall. Watch this.
Yeah.
Boom.
Just straight over the handlebars. The bike comes to almost an immediate stop.
Malcolm Stewart had nowhere to go. I didn't pick up what number that was. The other rider that went down with Jason Anderson. Chase Sexton aboard the Red Bull KTM. A lightning start and has not looked back. He's gapped Tomac. Tomac's falling into the clutches of Adam Cian Cirillo. Plessinger is fourth. Shane McElrath with a super start. He's in the mix in the top 5. How about that?
The amount of skill, balance, core strength, physical strength, mental strength that you have to endure these track conditions right now.
Look at Shane McElrath on the 12. McElrath's up to 3rd. He goes by Cian Cirillo, and he is loving it. Here's Roxon on the 94. Gets by Jet Lawrence. Lawrence, who's just taking it very gingerly.
Well, you can't override it in these conditions right here. And keep in mind, we talk about a clear vision and clear view looking through your goggles. Jet Lawrence is in the worst spot possible, being sandwiched in between 2 riders. There's Kenny Roxon right there, the number 94, that yellow X-Star Progressive Suzuki.
Lawrence is ahead of Plessinger. Here comes Cooper Webb. First time we've seen the 2. The Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing pilot.
Jet kind of chilling right here. I mean, these conditions are so incredibly tough. And as this race goes on, your foot pegs get slippery, your handlebars get slippery, your hands want to come off the handlebars. You know, imagine riding your bicycle in the pouring down rain, and you have WD-40 on the grips trying to hang on. This is what it's like for these guys. Extremely difficult.
How about the 29-year-old Shane McElrath on that HEP Suzuki?
Yeah.
There he is there, tucked in behind the multi-time champ, Eli Tomac. McElrath said, this start that we had at Anaheim, it's more together than it was a year ago. I'm off to a better start for the new season, and I'm feeling great. Imagine what it would be to get a 450 podium.
Well, and make no mistake about it, Shane McElrath, I mean, he's contended for championships in the 250 regional division, so he knows how to perform and he knows how to ride. And he has gotten a great start here early.
Let's talk more about Eli Tomac. Here's Will.
Thank you, Lee. Well, Eli Tomac, we know, came in 9th at Anaheim won there last weekend, coming in after that ruptured Achilles tendon injury. But I spoke to the team at Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing. They were like, well, we know traditionally, take 2023 out, that Eli Tomac doesn't have the best start to A1. So they said they're not worried about that. And when I asked him, well, what was the progress this week? They said it was huge. Jeremy Coker, their team manager, said he saw a fire lit under Eli this week. And he said it changed him on track with his riding, and it changed his entire demeanor. So he told me, look for a different Eli Tomac this week. And it's incredible to think that he's in these kind of challenging, I mean, it's not even the right word, is it, Ricky? Circumstances tonight in only his second race back, and here he is in second.
So one thing about Eli Tomac is he runs a cable clutch, I believe. And the reason that he likes it, it feels more positive, it feels more real. And I feel like in these conditions, a cable clutch has the advantage because it doesn't adjust automatically like a hydraulic clutch does. A lot of these riders use a hydraulic clutch so they never lose tension in their clutch lever. So Eli's going to be talking about, you've heard me talk about clutch and saving that, preserving it to make it to the end of the race. He's going to have a better feel because of that cable clutch.
And he's got a little bit of breathing room over Shane McElrath. McElrath has his Suzuki teammate Ken Roczen starting to zero in on him. Meanwhile, Chase Sexton is in his own zip code. He's more than 10 seconds out in front of Eli Tomac. What a performance.
Incredible ride by Chase Sexton right here. Just kind of really cool, just rolling around. Doesn't look pressured, JT, one bit.
Well, and this all began with that start, and it's going to be interesting to ask him about that if he does go on to win here, because I don't think I've seen a start like that ever, and it makes me wonder if he had kind of got a feel for the timing. A lot of times riders will count, right? What second are they dropping the gate on? Other riders are kind of listening to the mechanics of the gate dropping, which is really difficult because you have all those 450s revving so highly. But that was not a reactionary response. I simply do not believe he saw the gate drop and took off. There was something more to the story there.
Well, what JT is talking about, so when the 30-second board goes sideways or is lifted, the gate will drop between 5 to 10 seconds. So these guys will try to, sometimes these guys will try to time it. When the car goes sideways, they'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then just release the clutch.
So dramas for Jet Lawrence, and he's dropped back even further. He's now back in 9th place. Let's have a look at what happened to the A1 winner. Oh.
Sit down, going through. That's right after the triple jump. Oh, yeah. What happened is he goes into that corner. He leans the bike over early, and there just wasn't enough resistance in the berm for him to put all that weight into the berm, and it gave away, and he goes down. And you know what? We've been praising this gentleman, and he's done a great job. He surely has. But I look forward. This is what's great about the mud too. I look forward to how does he respond next weekend in San Diego? Does he override? Does he overcompensate? We'll have to find out.
Ken Roczen, after winning his heat last weekend in A1, got tangled up on lap 1 in the main and went down. But after being as far back as something like 18th, 19th, 20th, fought his way for a top 10 result. It was an awesome ride. And now here comes Kickstart Kenny. He's got by Shane McElrath, and he's on the podium so far here in San Francisco. We are halfway through this 450 main, and a reminder to stop by your local Safeway where Monster Energy drinks are available and on sale now. Now, what's the time gap from Roczen to Tomac? He can catch Eli, no worries.
He's 4 seconds behind Tomac. And as we start to get into lap riders, that's an opportunity for a guy like Ken Roczen to catch Eli Tomac. Maybe Eli Tomac gets caught up behind a lapper, isn't able to make the move. There's Kenny clearing out his goggles. Oh,
wow, Webb!
Oh, he saves it. He got lucky.
Wow.
He was going sideways. He was going down. He runs in, basically falls into Ferrandis and stays upright.
He used him kind of as a wall to bounce off, to ricochet off. Ferrandis is in 8th at the moment. There's Jorge Prado on the 111 just further up the road aboard his Troy designed Red Bull Gas. Tell you what, Plessinger has rallied. Plessinger had dropped to the bottom of the top 10. Now he's rebounded to get back up into a top 5 position. 6 minutes to go plus a lap. Hang on to it, fellas. What a wild night this is.
Well, as you get later into this race, too, these bikes, this is where we're going to see, are they going to be able to make it to that checkered flag? Still a lot of racing left. Uh-oh.
Problems for...
I'm hearing the fans react.
Problems for Prado. There he is there. Just got caught up a little bit. He's able to get going again. That's going to help Dylan Ferrandis' cause. And conditions, Ricky, it's obvious. It's got worse the longer the night's gone on.
It's a quagmire. And we talked about it at the top of the show, how these conditions were just going to continue to deteriorate. The heat coming up from the bike. Looks like the heat might be coming from the head pipe, not the... he saved it. We talked about it. That's a bad place to go down on the up ramp of a jump. It's just so hard to pick the bike up. This bike's extremely heavy to start. Well, not extremely heavy, but they're, let's just say 220 pounds. I bet they're weighing in at 250, 260 pounds now.
And you're looking at a MXGP world champion just trying to keep his bike in a straight line. Ferrandis has gone by him now, so Dylan is up to 7. Chasing now after Adam C. and Cirillo. That gap between Tomac in second and Roxon has grown, but the gap from Sexton to Tomac has reduced. So has Eli Tomac here on screen got something for his old foe in Chase Sexton? We'll see.
And I wasn't in panic mode after last weekend's results from Eli Tomac. Man, this guy's a 2-time Monster Energy champion. He's the second winningest rider in Monster Energy Supercross with 51 wins. You can't sleep on this guy's skills and abilities, JT.
Well, I think this race is exactly what the doctor ordered for Eli Tomac, because if you look at last weekend, I just felt like he was missing that last 1 or 2% of intensity to be able to go with a guy like Jet Lawrence, or you just saw all the urgency that Jason Anderson and Cooper Webb had, and Eli Tomac just didn't quite have it back yet. Well, this race is totally different. It's slower, it's more methodical, and all the things we talked about with Jorge Prado and why that heat race worked for him are absolutely working for Eli Tomac in this main event.
Right now, too, you know, I don't want to put words or speak for Eli, because I certainly don't know exactly what he's thinking. But if I'm in his position after last week and then coming into this week, getting a second place, I mean, that's almost like a win. It's a fantastic turnaround from a 9th place till now. So this is a great finish. He puts himself back in the points running.
Well, if he stays where he is, he rockets his way up into 3rd in the championship points. This man here would take over the red number plate and be the new points leader. So, with 3 minutes plus a lap to go, what does this man here, the reigning Monster Energy AMA Supercross champion, think about his new ride and transitioning from Honda to KTM?
It's definitely a lot different of a motorcycle, going from aluminum frame to steel frame. It's a lot different feeling. I've obviously gotten to ride it a lot now, and it's been really fun. It's refreshing, like I said, a new journey for me as a rider to learn a new bike, not being on the same thing and dealing with the same problems. I want to not have new problems, but also find a way to fix those. And yeah, it's been fun so far. I've found some stuff on this bike that I haven't had in a while, and also some problems that we have to obviously go through and fix. So it's been fun, and like I said, the team around me is the reason that I'm there, and obviously the bike is really good as well.
Yeah, he talked about the team, Roger DeCoster, Ian Harrison. They got a bunch of great personnel on that factory Red Bull KTM racing team. And he also talked about, you listen, the aluminum frame versus the steel frame, and I think that's rider preference. I think both do things extremely well. And it was just time for a change. It was a time for a change, and you know, this is a great ride for Chase Sexton. Much better than last week. I'll be honest, I was expecting a little more from him last week, but he's doing fantastic right now.
Well, he said after Anaheim that one thing that he was reminded of is that consistency is equally as important as speed. And if he stays where he is, he's going to be the only rider to get 2 podiums from the first 2 races. However, the 3 of Eli Tomac is closing in.
It ain't over yet. See, Eli wasn't able to jump on top of that tabletop, and Chase is most of the time, but there's the gap right there. You can see one little slip up from Chase, and You might see the number 3 of Eli Tomac right on the rear fender, but
he's managed this race so beautifully.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it doesn't look like he's taken any chances. He's been really smooth and controlled. And the range is absolutely dumping down, Diff.
And they cannot wait to see that white flag to say one more lap to go. Time is almost up, plus the lappage. Whether it's either 1 or 2, we'll find out. And what about the unpredictability in dry conditions when the track ruts up? You know where they are lap by lap. Every time you come around to the same spot, you say, I'll take that low rut, that low line, I'll take the high one. These track conditions are changing every lap. There's some very prolific ruts that don't change, but a lot of it does in certain sections. It's crazy.
Yeah, track is forever changing, and at this point, when you get deep into the race, you're certainly just going to want to get it to the finish line, especially for guys like Chase Sexton, Eli Tomac, and Ken Roczen. They know they're going to get what they're going to get here, and these are the finishes. Oh, you can see. Oh, Eli's catching him.
2 to go.
If Eli can close the gap a little bit closer, we're going to have a race. They got about a lap and a half left to go. But see how Chase jumps on top of that tabletop? Eli's slowing down. He loses some time here. Doesn't jump on that tabletop, and that just absolutely kills his drive.
Buys Chase a little bit more time.
Yeah.
What an effort, though, from Eli Tomac. He's answering the critics from a week ago when everybody was saying, well, what did you think of Eli's race? And, you know, has the spark gone in Eli Tomac? We now know absolutely not, and especially in the most difficult conditions. Can't say enough about Shane McElrath running in the 4th place. Awesome performance behind Suzuki teammate Ken Roczen, Aaron Plessinger. Plessinger has never, ever started a 450 season with back-to-back top 5s. 4th last week in Anaheim. If he stays where he is now for 5th, that'll be a career best of sorts. Ferrandis, 5th last week, facing a 6th this week. That's a solid start to the season as well. And Ferrandis will be in the top 5 in the championship heading to San Diego next week. The Lawrence brothers, they're both in the top 10 behind Adam C. and Cirillo. Meanwhile, Chase Sexton is on his way home.
Yeah, incredible ride by the defending champion here. This is going to be a nice boost of confidence for this team. There'll be, I would assume you could kind of take this. Jet Lawrence down again.
Yep.
Oh.
And Sexton tangles with him a little. Has that enabled Tomac to get close? Not close enough.
No. He had a nice lead right there.
What a rough night in the mud for Jet Lawrence.
This is going to get really interesting with the points situation right now.
Sure is.
It is going to be a lot of fun, a lot of racing to look forward to.
Here we go. Oh. Sexton gets bogged a little, and Tomac will be we'll see that. How close is Eli? Not close enough on this final lap. There's still some negotiating to be done.
There it is, yeah. I just think, though, if you're Eli Tomac, I can't wait to hear his post-race interview on the podium. I just have to imagine he's going to be happy with this result.
Well, 7 career wins is about to become 8 for Chase Sexton, and to win it like this in these conditions, incredible. What a gutsy performance. And his first in Red Bull KTM colors. Chase Sexton wins San Francisco and says, thank goodness that's over. Eli Tomac second. Awesome performance in just a slugfest in the mud. Shane McElrath, he's going to get a career best. Now, has he moved up to 3rd, or is his teammate Ken Roczen still hanging there, waiting for Roczen to cross the line?
Yeah, Ken
goes across now. Yeah. There he is. Well done.
He's pumped. Look at him. He's on the podium.
So he should be. And for Shane McElrath, right from the outset, right from the drop of the gate, Shane was there. Well done, Shane McElrath. 4th place in San Francisco. That'll feel like a win. Well done.
Stuck with it. Kept it upright. And that's half the battle in a mud race like this. Keeping it on 2 wheels. This is good. This is a big win for Chase Sexton, I believe. I think they'll be able to forward this momentum on to San Diego. Great points night
This guy's career was shaped in red, in Honda colors.
E dopo le immagini spettacolari appunto delle gare, siamo in attesa di collegarci con Michele Fanton per fare due chiacchiere veloci su quello che è successo appunto a San Francisco. Secondo round, campionato che si preannuncia veramente complicato da una parte ma emozionante dall'altra. Per cui aspettiamo Michele Fanton che sicuramente sarà già pronto per il collegamento. Buona visione. E come promesso sono in collegamento con Michele Fanton, sempre più carico, lo vediamo in azione con la Prigliona a Maggiora. Complimenti, ciao Michi.
Ciao Adriano, ciao a tutti.
Un terreno migliore di quello che abbiamo visto a San Francisco per il secondo round dell'AMA Supermotocross all'Oracle Park appunto di San Francisco. Pista infernale, cioè allagata dalla pioggia, hanno fatto i miracoli i piloti.
Sì, no, in effetti lì è iniziato a piovere già nella mattinata del sabato e non ha mai smesso perché c'è stata un'attuazione incredibile fino proprio alla fine del main events, per cui il terreno era iper pesante e secondo me è stata una delle prime gare del Supercross, non so da quanti anni, che non si vedeva un fango così terribile, è pazzesco.
Eh sì, comunque spettacolare perché abbiamo visto in difficoltà un po' tutti i piloti, anche quelli bravissimi, anche quelli che poi hanno vinto. Vederli zampettare, insomma, non è stata cosa da poco. E in effetti Chase Sexton ha fatto una gara magnifica, sbagliando pochissimo, qualche errorino ci sta su una pista così. Lo vediamo dietro le mie spalle in condizioni veramente tragicomiche. Un Sexton dove forse nessuno puntava immediatamente sulla competitività non tanto del pilota ma quanto dell'abbinamento pilota-moto.
Dal mio punto di vista, vabbè, questa qui è stata una gara un po' particolare appunto dal terreno e dalla pioggia che è caduta, dal fango pazzesco che c'era in pista. Lui si è destreggiato bene, non ha commesso errori, è partito come una freccia perché è uscito dal cancelletto, sembrava che l'avessero lanciato con un elastico.
Sì.
Incredibile. Viene quasi da pensare che era quasi d'accordo con quello che tirava giù il cancello perché è scattato fuori con una moto davanti a tutti.
Sì.
E sai, è una gara che fa testo fino a un certo punto.
Ha fatto la differenza in gara, una partenza così su un terreno così, insomma. Anche se Roxen era posizionato benissimo, purtroppo ha stallato la moto e come dicevi tu nel fuori onda di prima, forse avrebbe vinto.
Sì, perché comunque Rozen è arrivato in fondo alla staccata all'interno di Sexton e praticamente lui ha fatto il primo pezzo di pista davanti, però non so cosa sia successo quando praticamente è salito sopra un salto, la moto praticamente si è spenta e lì ha perso un sacco di posizioni, ma anche l'opportunità di poter trovare pista libera al primo giro, per cui fare le sue traiettorie, non essere sporcato dai suoi avversari, avere gli occhiali puliti almeno per i primi giri, moto anche più leggera e dal mio punto di vista, per carità, con mai se non si fa mai niente, però se lì la moto non si fermava aveva avuto qualche opportunità per poter anche puntare a vincere. Poi Sexton ha fatto una grande gara, non ha commesso errori, perché 15 minuti più un giro in mezzo a quell'inferno è facile scivolare, come hanno fatto tanti dei suoi avversari. Invece lui ha condotto la gara veramente a sangue freddo, non ha fatto errori particolari e ha inflitto un bel distacco fino a quasi alla fine a Tomac, che poi dopo si è avvicinato, ma io credo Sexton l'abbia fatto anche per il fatto di non cadere, di non...
Bellissima gara di Light Tomac, che non ha mollato fino alla fine, anzi si era avvicinato non di poco a Sexton verso fine gara. Sexton ha risposto e chiaramente poi ha messo nel carniere un paio di errorini che penso che sia stato contento comunque del secondo posto, perché lo riporta poi ai vertici del campionato, insomma.
Sì, beh, anche lui credo che avesse appunto bisogno di un bel risultato per riconfermare quello che lui è stato nel passato e anche per ribadire il fatto che lui c'è, è presente, la moto va bene, sappiamo benissimo che la Yamaha ha sempre lavorato intorno a lui e questo diciamo che è veramente un risultato importante per il suo morale e per il proseguo del campionato. Poi il gruppo è tutto molto, molto vicino, hanno fatto solo 2 gare e io
Anche
credo
perché
che
ha
la prossima...
recuperato, sembra pienamente dall'infortunio al tendine di Achille, cosa importantissima. Chiaramente su una pista così viene forse sollecitato di meno, però insomma, grande gara di Light Tomac e ci voleva un Tomac così. Cosa dire di Ken Roczen che comunque va a podio un'altra volta e si dimostra molto ma molto consistente e sempre sullo stesso livello coadiuvato da una Suzuki che sembra non avere limiti.
No, no, Ken Rotzen, abbiamo visto già anche la prima gara che purtroppo è caduto, però ha fatto una gran bella rimonta finendo appunto nono nel main event della prima gara. Poi qua è partito veramente tra gli ultimi, dopo già il primo giro era decimo, ha rimontato velocemente sui suoi avversari
Sì.
e poi tra le altre cose, se hai notato, nei primi 4 ci sono 2 Suzuki, incredibile.
Sì, Shane McCarrat ha fatto una gara, penso, della vita perché è arrivato quarto, ma per lui è una vittoria, è la miglior prestazione che ha avuto in sella la Suzuki e lo stesso team Progressive Suzuki appunto di Ken Roczen. Moto veramente messe a punto, loro veramente carichi, per cui ne vedremo delle belle nel proseguio. Aaron Plessinger, velocissimo nelle prove, velocità da iperspazio e è arrivato quinto, chiaramente con difficoltà, non dico nell'interpretare la pista, ma nell'affrontare tutte le problematiche appunto che si presentavano. L'ho visto molto molto carico e sicuramente su piste non conciate così, infernali così, lo vedremo sicuramente nei primi 5.
Sì,
Questa è la
sì,
mia previsione.
la penso anch'io come te. Comunque, Aaron ha dimostrato che comunque quest'anno è partito molto competitivo. Evidentemente ha fatto un bel periodo di allenamenti prima della pre-season e sarà uno da tenere sott'occhio perché comunque la gara precedente ha fatto un bel quarto senza rubare
Sì.
niente a nessuno e oggi, cioè sabato, ha fatto un'altra bella gara, sempre non partendo bene, perché tra altre cose nella hit era in testa fino a qualche giro dalla fine, per cui anche lì lui si stava destreggiando bene. E come ribadisco che in queste gare la partenza è il punto di
Fondamentale,
tutta la gara, per cui con
fondamentale.
Lessinger lo vedo un pilota che continuerà a far parlare di sé quest'anno.
Eh sì. Cosa dire di Dylan Ferrandis con una Honda praticamente, non dico di privatissima, sicuramente ben preparata, però lo vediamo completamente cambiato, sorridente sul podio quando lo intervistano e così sarà un osso duro per tutta la stagione per gli altri. Come
Beh,
l'hai visto?
assolutamente. Ferrandise ha dimostrato che sopra l'onda ha trovato quel feeling che forse gli mancava con la Yamaha ma evidentemente ha trovato delle motivazioni più importanti dentro la sua testa, anche perché lui vuole dimostrare il suo potenziale, visto che i grossi team l'hanno un po' snobbato.
Sì.
Quindi ha
Era
motivazioni.
senza moto fino all'inizio della stagione. È stata una cosa sofferta la sua.
Per cui Dylan credo che quest'anno, se non succede niente, perché poi dopo purtroppo la stagione è lunga, possono sempre succedere qualche piccolo inconveniente, è un altro pilota da tenere d'occhio e sarà molto caldo per le altre classifiche.
Un altro pilota caldissimo è Jorge Prado. Grande pilota, con una tecnica impeccabile, arrivato settimo, però non la dice tutta proprio sulle potenzialità di questo pilota. Lo vedremo poi a San Diego settimana prossima. Staremo a vedere un po' cosa succede, però tanto di cappello a questo pilota che dimostra grande passione, grande umiltà e grande velocità.
Sì, sì. Poi tra le altre cose ricordiamola che nella hit tra l'altro è riuscita anche a vincerla. Vabbè, è partito
Sì.
davanti, però ha fatto un bel ritmo, non ha commesso errori. Tra le altre cose nella hit riuscivano addirittura a fare qualche salto, qualche doppio importante e lui si lanciava, per cui diciamo che certe paure le ha sopite. E poi nella finale, se lui partiva come di solito ci ha abituato in tutto il campionato del mondo, che è sempre primo la prima curva, chissà mai che avrebbe anche potuto vincere la sua prima gara di Supercross.
Questo
Senza
qua è il
nulla
Toto Supermotocross, è il Toto Supermotocross.
sì.
Ogni
Però
tanto
senza
ci
nulla togliere al suo
bilanciamo.
potenziale ha dimostrato belle cose. Bravo Prado.
Assolutamente sì. Parliamo di Jet Lawrence, di Hunter Lawrence, che qui hanno dimostrato un pochettino di fragilità su piste pesanti.
Diciamo che
L'hai
intanto
visto anche
Hunter
tu
è riuscito con il.
oppure sono solo io che li ha visti veramente in difficoltà su un terreno così?
No, no, ribadisco che comunque, sai, ogni pilota poi ha sempre qualche lacuna. Evidentemente Jets qua in questa gara così impegnativa, fangosa, con canaloni molto profondi, ha trovato, diciamo, quello che è la cosa che dovrà lavorare nel prossimo futuro. Non eravamo abituati a un jet diverso e abbiamo visto che invece ha qualche difficoltà. L'ha dimostrato appunto sabato, ha fatto diverse cadute, scivolate che hanno compromesso un po' la sua stabilità anche emotiva e soprattutto di concentrazione. Ha portato a casa un nono posto davanti al suo fratello Hunter, che finalmente si è qualificato, diciamo così finalmente, perché è un pilota del suo calibro. Quello che è successo la settimana
Sì,
scorsa
ad Anaheim purtroppo non è partito
disastro.
per la finale perché non si è qualificato, per cui
Durante la
insomma,
settimana è stato un po'
il
massacrato.
campionato è lungo, per
Sì,
cui c'è
assolutamente,
tanto
però
da
sai.
fare per tutti i piloti, c'è la possibilità da parte loro di recuperare. Un Cooper Webb che arriva 11°, pensavo, però, come ripeto, su una pista così fare previsioni è impossibile. Arriva 11°, perde un po' di punti in campionato, laddove Sexton guadagna la tabella rossa con il numero 1, Jet Lawrence è secondo in campionato. Insomma, staremo a vedere un pochettino cosa succede a San Diego, ma sono sicuro che avranno tutti il coltello tra i denti per ben figurare e portarsi avanti appunto nella classifica di campionato. Cosa dire? La 450 la mettiamo un attimino da parte. Vediamo un pochettino quello che è successo nella 250 con Gordon Smith che va a vincere, gara meritatissima da parte sua, un Levi Kitchen che arriva sicuramente perché è un dato di fatto, arriva secondo, un RJ Hampshire che arriva terzo, per cui il campionato insomma si stabilizza un pochettino sui soliti, ecco.
Sì,
Come hai visto la 250?
ma io ho visto uno sfortunatissimo Vola, Maxime Vola,
Sì.
perché nei primi giri era lì che stava lottando con i primi e io credo che si sarebbe meritato un bel podio. Purtroppo la sua moto a un certo punto si è fermata e non ha più avuto sapere di ripartire.
Era
Altra nota
leggermente arrabbiato.
dolente che ho visto purtroppo è stata quella di Shimoda, il pilota ufficiale HRC, perché subito al primo giro a un certo punto è caduto, si è rialzato, ha provato a far partire la moto e si vedeva che accelerava però non avanzava. Evidentemente è un problema tecnico che purtroppo l'ha retrocesso.
Probabilmente, cioè, nei primi stacchi di frizione gli si è fusa la frizione.
Eh sì, perché
Come
lì
a
poi
molti, in effetti c'era la disquisizione da parte di Ricky Carmichael, James Bubba Stewart, che in piste così quello che serve è la frizione a cavo, laddove hai la sensazione appunto di andare in overheat
Mhm.
e usarla il meno possibile. Invece con la frizione idraulica che si autoregola è più difficile regolarsi appunto su questo. Tu come la vedi questo
Beh,
pensiero?
sì, sì, assolutamente, do pienamente ragione a quello che ha detto Carmichael, perché la frizione a filo, chiamiamolo vecchio stile, ti dà modo di avere una sensibilità maggiore, soprattutto in questi tipi di terreni, per cui ci sarebbe stato un modo di salvaguardare meglio la frizione, mentre là con la frizione idraulica eh, sembri di avere un feeling maggiore, però si usura molto, molto in modo
Quando
sostenibile.
cede, cede. Di
Quando
cui
cede, bravissimo,
non hai,
cede, e lì la moto si
non
ferma,
hai
non avanza più,
preavvisi.
è finita.
Per cui una 250 che si sta mettendo un pochettino così così per Shimoda. Anche ad Anaheim non l'ho visto guidare benissimo comunque.
Sì, sì, però io credo che dalle prossime gare, se non ci sono degli inconvenienti, Shimoda è un pilota che può riprendersi e far vedere quello che comunque le sue capacità tecniche che ci ha fatto vedere nel passato ritorneranno a galla, sicuramente, io ci credo.
Bene, chiudiamo anche la 250. Noi salutiamo tutti gli amici appunto da casa che ci seguono. Spero che le nostre quattro chiacchiere vi abbiano tenuto incollati al televisore. Ti ringrazio tantissimo Michele e ci vediamo a San Diego settimana prossima.
Ass- Assolutamente. Ciao Adriano e ciao a tutti i nostri ascoltatori.
E siamo arrivati a fine puntata, spero che vi sia piaciuta. Vi ricordo che oltre che televisivamente andiamo in onda anche su tutti i canali social. Vi do l'indicazione sul nostro canale YouTube Motocross My Passion TV, la nostra pagina web www.motocrossmypassion.it. Cosa volere di più? Più siamo, più motocross porterò in televisione, ringraziando infinitamente la Feld Entertainment che ci concede appunto le immagini da mandare in onda. Per cui ci vediamo alla prossima e mi raccomando, Motocross My Passion c'è.